and welcome to our first episode of the new year. 2023 is going to be a banner year for the Latino Business Report, and we hope it is for you too. Later this month, Latino Business Report will be launching a brand new website. We have a new logo, and we just started a Latino Business Report Instagram page. Between now and the end of January, anybody who starts following us on our Instagram page will be automatically eligible to win gifts and prizes. Make sure you follow our podcast and follow us on Instagram to see if you are the winner. The gifts and prizes we're giving away will be well worth the click. In this episode, we welcome back Laura Ramirez. Laura is a licensed psychotherapist practicing in Houston, Texas. She's going to tell us why some people keep their New Year's resolutions and why others don't. Laura is also going to give us some tips on how to keep those resolutions that you make every year but just can't seem to keep. The first episode of Latino Business Report starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Latino Business Report. This podcast covers business, people, and issues of the day from a Latino perspective. The Latino Business Report is brought to you by TAMAC, the Texas Association of Mexican American Chambers of Commerce. TAMAC is the leading Hispanic business organization in Texas since 1975. Now for your host, J.R. Gonzalez.
Happy New Year, folks. Can you believe it's been another year? Where did 2022 go? It just kind of zoomed by. Now, as we enter the new year, there's one of the things people always do is make New Year's resolutions. But if you're anything like me, you have a hard time keeping those resolutions. And that's why we brought back from last episode, Laura Ramirez. Laura, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. How was your Christmas?
It was awesome. Got to spend it with my family, and I used a lot of the tips that I talked about when, dealing with family members. So it was great. Listen to my own advice.
Did you send any of your relatives to the trampoline in the backyard?
Yes, many of them.
If you have no idea what we're talking about, you need to listen to the previous episode with this where Laura talks about the trampoline. Still trying to get that in my mind, but I think it's a good analogy there. So anyway, Happy New Year. How did you celebrate your New Year's Eve? Family, friends?
I actually, believe it or not, I went to a wedding for the first time, a New Year's Eve wedding. It was awesome.
Well, at least the guy can remember his wedding date, or he should be able to.
I know. What an easy date to remember, right? December 31st.
Perfect. So he's starting off a new life, and a lot of people like to start their New Year's off with resolutions. So that's what we're here to talk about. So Laura, why do people make New Year's resolutions? And why can't a lot of people keep them?
Yikes. What a good question, right? So I did some research after you and I talked, and I actually came up with 5 reasons why people don't keep New Year's resolutions, but also 5 ways on how they can keep those New Year's resolutions.
Okay. Before we get into that, why do people make New Year's resolutions? Any idea of how all that mess started?
Well,
New year, new beginnings.
Yeah, new year, hey, the apple dropped in New York and they want to, change their life, do something new, be a better person, set up new habits, whatever it is. But yeah, it's the whole, hype behind the old year is gone, the new year is here kind of thing. A fresh
and
new start.
It's time to make change and make your life better. But change for some people isn't that easy.
Oh, no, it can be very, very hard. So let me just give you a little bit of research.
Okay.
Research shows that only 16% of people who set New Year's resolutions keep them and stick to them. Only 16. That's 16%.
Okay.
That's low.
Okay. I don't think I'm in that 16%, but all right. So
you know what, JR? Neither am I. So
why is that figure so low?
There's again, these are the 5 points that we can talk about. And just to let you know, 16%, it's so low. Like I said, I'm in that 16%, but I think after we talk about these 5 tips as to why people don't keep them and how you can keep them, I think you and I are going to be on the 16% side.
Okay, because knowing that I can't keep my New Year's resolution has caused me not only anxiety, but a little bit of depression from year to year. So
go back and listen to the other podcast.
Go back and listen to the other episode. But in the meantime, How do I deal with this? Or let's go through those 5 things you have.
So let me just give you a really, really short list of what the research showed as to reasons why people don't keep it. Just a really short list, and then we'll hop into our five reasons.
Okay.
Lack of time, resources, motivation, and loss of zeal after starting their New Year's resolution. So do you want me to just jump into number 1?
Yeah. Okay. First, lack of time, lack of motivation,
Lack of time, resources, motivation, lack of motivation, and loss of zeal after starting their New Year's resolution.
All right.
Those are just some reasons people in the research showed why they didn't keep it.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, number 1, setting unrealistic resolutions. So, think about this. In order to keep your resolve, you have to change your behavior. Change is hard. You just said that a little while ago. It's so difficult. So in order to be able to counter that, in order to not set unrealistic expectations, JR, tell me about an unrealistic expectation that you would set, or an unrealistic resolution. Be unrealistic for once.
The unrealistic one is I'm going to be a much better person in life and go out there and make lots of money. I'm kind of like, I work in nonprofits. I mean, I always give everything away, just making a lot of money. I'll make it, but for other people. So that's kind of unrealistic for me to think I'm going to end up with a fat bank account at the end of the year, at the end of this next year. But it doesn't mean we can't head in that direction, I guess.
You were like totally negative with yourself right now, which should be a resolution. Yeah. Be more positive. But
I need to be more positive.
Be more positive because it's possible. But think about this. Okay. So just based on what you said, let's have the unrealistic expectation that you're going to make $10 million this year. You just said, you work for a nonprofit, you make money for others. So it's possible for you to make 10 million for somebody else, for the nonprofit, right? But let's just say we set this unrealistic resolution that I'm going to make $10 million within the first month of 2023. Okay. Now, unless you're playing the lottery or you have some investments that you have not told me about, that may be an unrealistic expectation. So let me give you one of my unrealistic expectations. Every year I set the goal that I'm going to, lose weight. But my unrealistic expectation is that I'm going to lose 10 pounds a week. Okay. That's not going to happen. Okay.
Probably unhealthy to do that too.
It's not healthy. Healthy is 1 to 2 pounds a week. Right. But in my mind, I get overambitious. So I set an unrealistic expectation of losing 10 pounds a week. It's not healthy, and I shouldn't be doing it. And I shouldn't even set that expectation. So what ends up happening?
To that point, I set those expectations too, but I always say, yes, I need to lose about between 5 and 50 pounds. That's a realistic explanation. Yeah, I probably need to lose 50, but if I take it 5, I'm happy.
And think about
maybe
this.
That's an exaggeration. Maybe that's
but
maybe too wide of a gap there for expectations.
Yes, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute, because that's a different number. But yes, you're exactly right. It's realistic, but yet a little bit unrealistic based on the way the goals are set. So in order to counter the setting unrealistic resolutions, don't set them. Set realistic ones. Just like you said right now, that's a perfect example. Maybe set to lose 5 pounds, 5 to 10 pounds. That's attainable. Once you lose those 5 or 10, set your new goal. So you can set those realistic resolutions. So think about that. Be realistic when you're setting your New Year's resolutions. That's number 1.
Be realistic.
Be realistic. Number 2, people fail because they have no self-monitoring and they have no accountability. So you set your New Year's resolution, whatever it may be, but no one's monitoring you. You have no way to monitor. There's no data, and there's no one holding you accountable. It's just something you set. So pretty much you've already started to fail at that.
So monitoring yourself or holding yourself accountable is not the best idea. Maybe share the idea with somebody, write it down, share it with somebody to have them help you, is what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Find somebody that can hold you accountable. Find a coach or a friend or somebody that's on the same journey as you are. Find somebody that can hold you accountable. And also monitor. You can self-monitor. I just said that there is no self-monitoring. So you can monitor your New Year's resolution.
If you have the discipline, you can self-monitor, but it always helps to have some mechanism of monitoring whatever your goal is going to be.
Yes, whether it's you write down the data, you write down like your starting point, like say, for example, you're trying to lose weight. Weigh yourself January 1st, weigh yourself as close to January 1st or whatever. If you set a New Year's resolution, it's going to be January 1st. Weigh yourself, write it down, write it down on a chart. Keep track of that. Don't just weigh yourself January 1st and then weigh yourself again in June, the end of June. And you're like, I'm still the same weight or I've gained weight. There's no monitoring there. So the reason I said monitor yourself is to weigh yourself and then have checkpoints, whether it's weekly checkpoints, that's probably the best way to do it, or daily checkpoints, depending on how you want to monitor your results. And that's just an example as far as weight loss. I mean, there's many New Year's resolutions.
You can apply that to anything, just about.
Just keep track of it, write it down on a calendar if you need to. A lot of times people are using their calendars on their phones. Really, it's more visually accountable if you write it on a paper calendar.
Okay. So bottom line on this one, if you set a goal, come up with some sort of mechanism, whether it be self check or an outside, maybe another person helping you, but just monitor it and keep track of your progress.
Yeah, monitor and keep track. Try to make a visual. We're visual people. We like to see things, have it there in front of you. And I will say something about accountability. Choose somebody who is positive. A lot of times we tend to find somebody to hold us accountable that is going to kick our ass. And if they do it in a positive way, great. But if they do it in a negative way where they're telling you, you know what, you're not doing a good job. That's a horrible goal. Don't even try to reach that. Try to surround yourself. And this is for anything in life. Surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with people who are going to lift you up rather than tear you down. So keep that in mind as you're choosing somebody to hold you accountable.
Okay. Next one.
Number three is going to be the lack of planning. Lack of planning, and my favorite quote is, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So plan ahead. Okay. People fail because they don't plan. So the key to making this work is to plan ahead. Now, in the lack of planning side of it, sometimes we can be a little overconfident. And when we're overconfident, that equals being unprepared and ill-equipped because we think, oh, I can do this. This is going to be easy, which leads to change is hard. You were just saying that a little while ago. Be honest with yourself. It's difficult to change. Change is not easy. Never has anyone ever said change is easy. It's just going to come and it's going to be awesome. There's very few people that can say that and actually truly see the results in that. So be realistic. Change is difficult. If it wasn't difficult, then everybody would be able to achieve these New Year's resolutions and we wouldn't have that 16% achievability with New Year's resolutions. So in order to counter that, plan ahead. Have action steps, just like we talked about before. Monitor, but have those action steps. Like set some times where you can look and reflect back. Set your action steps. What are you going to do to achieve that New Year's resolution? What are your action steps? What are you going to do to be able to do that? Break it down into smaller pieces and schedule them. Again, schedule them on a planner. Put a reminder in your phone. Oh, here's I'm going to achieve this action by this date. So take small steps. They always say, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
Exactly. So that's what you're going to have to do with your New Year's resolution.
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. One action step at a time.
Unless your goal is to lose weight and that one bite just adds another pound, but we won't go there.
Eat good things. One bite of a good thing will get you there.
Eat healthy.
Exactly. Eat healthy. Number 4, self-doubt. Self-doubt will always cause you to fail in whatever you're doing. Don't allow your past failures to dictate your future. People put in too much energy on why I can't do this. Again, negativity. Yes, change. You have to acknowledge change is hard, but at the same time, don't beat yourself up and say you can't do it, because you can do it. You just have to put the action steps behind it to do it. So self-doubt will get you.
So if you catch yourself saying you can't do it or want to give up, just don't let those thoughts get into your head. Just go.
No, that's
just
why
positive.
positive. Find yourself a positive accountability partner that says, you know what? So what? Last year's New Year's resolution didn't work. This is a new year. This is 2023. It's going to work this year. Find somebody who can pep you up and tell you that. And the way we can do
that whole si se puede type attitude.
Si se puede.
Yeah, are you a Mexican or are you a Mexicant?
I mean, exactly. Be a Mexican.
You can do it. Okay.
You're exactly right.
There you go.
The way people can be successful is learn from your past failures and get to work on them, fix them, change them, celebrate every tiny victory. A lot of times I hear people say, oh, I only lost a pound. I only lost 3 pounds. Celebrate those pounds. There are tiny victories that will eventually lead to larger victories. And I know we keep talking about weight loss, and I guess that's because that's mine. So I'm just going to keep bringing it up.
Isn't that one of the most common ones out there as far as a New Year's resolution, talking about everybody?
Yeah, everybody wants to look good, right? Everybody wants to feel good. So the other way you can do this is focus on why I can do this. Again, not why you can't, but why you can.
But why you can.
Exactly. Okay. And as you improve, as you make these tiny victories, make sure you practice thankfulness. Again, gratitude. Have an attitude of gratitude. Be compassionate with yourself and love yourself. Give yourself some grace. We're so quick to be harsh on ourselves all the time. We're like our worst critics. We tell ourselves and we talk to ourselves like we would not talk to anybody else. So have compassion with yourself as you're doing this. And don't let a minor setback turn into a permanent failure. And keep in mind, progress over perfection all the time.
Okay, I think that's important. I mean, they're all important, but could you repeat that one?
Progress over perfection?
No,
or don't let the minor
setback.
Don't let a minor setback turn into a permanent failure. It's just a minor setback. In other words, you fall off track, get back on. Tomorrow's a new day.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Just keep going. And then last, number 5, know your why. It's important to know. And you mentioned this at the beginning of the podcast. Why do people set New Year's resolutions? But know why you're doing it. I mean, the thing is that people they fail because they don't know why. Their why is very unclear. And that's with anything. That's with any goal that you set anytime during the year. Know your why, have it clear. And you fail when it's unclear. Let your why motivate you to take action and achieve your goals. If you don't know what your why is, they fail. So and the question to ask yourself is, are you doing it because someone else is doing it? You're just hopping on their bandwagon. It's not really for you. Are you being a follower? Nobody wants to be a follower. Be you. Like, set your own why. Figure that out for yourself. So some questions to ask yourself as you're setting up your why is, why are you making these resolutions? What motivates you to achieve these objectives? What motivates you to do what you do? And what emotional connection does your why have to you? So it's just some good starting questions as you're starting your New Year's resolutions. Ask those questions to yourself. You can start, it doesn't have to be New Year's, it doesn't have to be January. You can start in February, you can start in March. The whole point is to know your why, because that why is going to take you a long way.
It's important to stay positive. Unlike me, Laura, in the beginning of this episode, you said I was too negative. Okay.
But now you're going to be positive because now you know how to be positive. Yes, you're right.
So that's going to be one of my New Year's resolutions, to be more positive. Now, there's a lot of people think I'm overly positive about a lot of stuff, but you're right. When it comes to myself, maybe I am selling my own self short a little too many times, and I can achieve a lot more if I set my mind to it. Give yourself
some grace. Yeah, give yourself some grace.
Give myself some grace. Okay. Yeah. Si se puede, JR. Si se puede. We can do it. All right.
Be a Mexican, JR.
I'm going to be a Mexican, not a Mexicant.
That's right.
So very, very quickly, let's just go over that list one more time so the listeners don't have to play this episode again. Well, if you want to play it again, go ahead. Just leave some comments because we'll definitely get back to you. So, Lotto, what are the points again, real quick?
Why people fail or why they achieve them?
Both. Just
okay.
Go through that list.
So number 1, setting unrealistic resolutions. So set realistic ones. Number 2, people fail because there's no self-monitoring or no accountability. Monitor yourself every step of the way and find yourself a positive accountability partner. Number 3, lack of planning. So plan ahead. Again, you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Number 4, self-doubt. Don't deal with that. It's in the past. It's already done. Learn your lesson. Move on.
Turn the page.
Exactly. And number 5, know your why. People fail because they don't know their why they started. So know it and own it. Ask yourself those questions that I shared.
Excellent points. And I think a lot of it, the thing that stuck out to me the most is the planning part. Because if you put a good plan and put the other 4 elements into that plan, your degree of success should elevate, and hopefully you can be in that 16%. And if enough people listen to you, Laura, maybe that 16% will move up a little bit higher.
I was going to say, let's raise that 16%. Let's raise it.
There you go. Let's raise it. And the only way to raise it is to be positive and the people to start making the realistic resolutions, putting a plan for it, sticking to the goals, being positive about it, monitor themselves, and succeed.
Exactly. You owe it to yourself. Love yourself.
Love yourself, because there's times nobody else does.
And you know what? My favorite quote is from RuPaul James. And RuPaul always says, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else?
Very true. Very true. Laura, thank you very much. As always, I cannot express enough thanks for these words of wisdom. Wisdom just cascades off your lips like a flowing stream or waterfall. I mean, I love it.
You're too kind.
Anything you'd like to leave the audience with?
Just visualize yourself on the other side of your resolution. Visualize meeting your goal. What does that look like? That visualization, whether you draw it or you think about it and you think about it all the time, hold that deep in your heart, because that's what's going to get you to the other side. That's what's going to get you to achieve those goals. That visualization is so important when you're setting these New Year's resolutions or setting any type of goal that you have for yourself. So just visualize it so you see it and you achieve it. So just make sure you do that.
Visualize, stay positive. Now, before we sign off, because I have to ask this question, there's a lot of people that believe that just positive thinking will manifest itself into positive things happening. And if you think negative all the time, only negative things are happening. Is there any truth to that?
I'm a firm believer in that. You have to put out what you want to get back. So always put out positivity. I mean, it's karma. What you put out is what you're going to get back. It's a law. It's a law of attraction. Put it out. Be positive. No more negativity.
There you go, folks. You just heard those words of wisdom from a Texas licensed professional counselor, Laura Ramirez. Laura, thank you so much for being here. You're listening to the Latino Business Report. My name is J.R. Gonzalez. Folks, have a good one. Be safe out there. It's the new year. Let's make those New Year's resolutions. Come up with a plan if you haven't already. Be positive and change your life.